calculator on your computer. If you don't, let me know and I can help you get that. Introduction to probability. We're going to start by defining what is and I'm working on getting my definition pulled up. Internet's being really slow. A number between 0 and 1 So we might look at that number between 0 and 1 as a fraction. We might say a half or a sixth. We might look at it as a decimal. So when we talk about like weather and the likelihood of rain or cloud, we usually talk about it as a percent. Okay, when we talk about flipping a coin or rolling a dice, we like to talk about it as a fraction. And then sometimes we do it as a decimal just for funsies. That number represents, how likely an event will happen. Okay, a number between 0 and 1 to represent how likely an event will happen. All right, when we do this, we're going to talk about it kind of as a continuum. So I'm going to do a line here with dots at the end. Okay, we said it was between 0 and 1. So on the left side here, I'm going to put 0. And that's the same thing as 0%. On the opposite side of 0% or 0 is 1. And how would we write 1 as a percent? 100%. Because remember we moved that decimal over 2 places. So 1 means 100%. So if something is 100%, the probability is 100%, what does that mean?
Like you know it's going to, so like if it's snowing, you know it's going to snow.
Or you know it's already snowing, right? So 100% we say that this is certain, meaning it has to be happening. So what's something that we know for certain right now that is for sure happening?
Snow on the ground.
There is snow on the ground right now. I'm going to... What? School is in process. I'm going to say that we are taking notes. Right now, are we taking notes? Yes. So what's the probability that we are taking notes? 100%. It's happening. Okay, on the opposite side, we have 0%. So if 100% means certain, what does 0% mean? It's not really an option? You're not sure? It means that it is impossible. So what is something that would be impossible right now? For it to be summertime. We're on summer vacation. Okay, right now, what the probability of us being on summer vacation, right now it's March 15th. Maybe we're on a break at some point this trimester, but will we be on summer vacation sometime this trimester?
No.
No, that's impossible. The end of the trimester, after the trimester, will be on summer break, but not right now. All right, what would go in exactly the middle part of this line? What's exactly between 0 and 100%? 50%. Or if we think as a decimal, what's exactly between 0 and 1? We can label it as a decimal 0.5. We could say it's 50%. Or we could say it's a half. If something is a 50-50 chance, what does that mean for something to be 50-50? It could, it couldn't. It means that they're equally likely or there's an even chance. Okay, so something with an even chance would be like guessing a true-false question. Okay, if you get a test, you know nothing about the test, you don't even read the question, you just guess your answer, you have a 50% chance of getting it right. Yeah. Okay, so an even chance is at 50-50, or flipping a coin. If we talk about our deck of cards and we took out the jokers, what would be 50-50 in the cards? What's half the deck? Red and black, yeah. You'd have a 50% chance of getting a red card or a 50% chance of getting a black card. All right, if it falls in this area here, it's between 0 and 0.5, we say that it is unlikely to happen. Hi. Thanks. Okay, so if it's between 0 and a half, it's unlikely to happen. So what's something right now that would be unlikely to happen? What'd you say?
The school burning on fire.
The school burning on fire. Is there a chance that right now, somewhere in the school, there's a fire happening? Probably.
In the kitchen?
Is it going to happen, though? Generally, does it happen? Is it something that we could count on today?
Yes.
No, unfortunately, when I got out of bed this morning, I said the school is probably not burned down right now. So I should get up and go to work. Okay? So what's another thing that would be unlikely?
No snow on the ground.
No snow on the ground. Right. Usually at this time of the year in Minnesota, there's no snow, or there is snow on the ground. Okay. Is it unlikely that Miss Morrell will do the splits right now?
Oh.
Very. Could I do the splits right now?
You could.
I could. I'm really good at it.
Actually.
Yeah, but do I usually do the splits during math class? No.
Can you?
I can, but I'm not going to. It's unlikely that it will happen. It might happen. Hold out some hope. Maybe. We'll see. All right. So if unlikely is between 0 and 50%, and you know something is now between 50 and 100%, what would we call that?
Most likely.
Not most. We just use likely. Something is, it's kind of a weird way to say things. Likely. Okay. Something that is likely to happen is something that we can generally count on, but it's not always 100% going to be true. Okay? For example, Miss Morrell wears jeans to school. Generally, do I wear jeans to school every day?
No. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I generally do. Do I have to? Is that like is there a rule saying I have to wear jeans?
No.
No. Could I show up tomorrow in a skirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I wanted to. Probably not. It's not likely. It's likely I'm going to wear jeans. Okay, so that is probability. We're going to be calculating probability in just a moment, but we're going to talk about sample space first. Okay, so sample space. It's kind of a lot of vocab today. Yeah, go real quick. Get on this notes. Sample space is all the possible outcomes. Okay? Sample space is all the possible outcomes. So, for example, if I had a bag, I'm going to draw a bag here. Ooh, look at that bag. Little ties. And in the bag, I have a circle and a star and a X, and then I have 3 triangles, and I have another X, 3 triangles, and 1 more X. Okay, so I have a circle, star, X, 3 triangles, X, 3 triangles, X. Whoop, that didn't work. There we go. All right, in this case, what is my sample space? What could I reach in to this bag and grab out? When you guys really worked on this yesterday with those blind bags, of thinking what's in that bag or in that envelope. Okay, so what is our sample space? What are our possible outcomes? What could I take out? What is it though? Like name it specifically. What if I reached in and took something out, what could it be? A triangle. How many triangles? Yeah, how many triangles are there? 6. So there's 6 triangles. So there's 6 possible triangles. What else is there? 1 star. What else? 3 X's. Anything else? 1 circle. So that's a total of how many possible outcomes do we have? How many different objects could I have grabbed? 11. 6 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1. There's 11 total. All right, we're going to do a couple of examples here, and then we are going to have the rest of the time to practice. Okay, we're going to be talking about rolling a dice, which it is socially acceptable to say dice when you're just talking about 1 now. Who knew? Found out? Someone is there right now. Okay, so if I have a dice, what is the sample space of a dice? What are my possible outcomes? What could I roll? A 6. What else could I roll? A 1, a 5. So if I roll a dice, my sample space I could get a 1. What else could I roll? Oh, I got a 1. I could roll a 3, a 2, and it goes all the way up to how much? 6. So how many total outcomes are there? 6. So if the directions ask you to list the sample space, Listing the sample space tells you to actually put the numbers down or put out what could you come out with. So here our list is 6 triangles, 1 star, 3 X's. If it just asks you what's the total sample space, then you're just tallying up how many total there are. Okay, how many possible options. All right, so if I want to know what is the probability of rolling a 5. And we're going to find a shortcut of how to write that out next time. But what's the probability of rolling a 5? We've not been sleepy at all. Not even close. 0.6? 1.6? How did you figure that out? Yeah, how many 5s are there that I could possibly roll? 1 out of how many total? 6. Okay, and we can represent this both as a fraction. We can do it as a decimal, which Cardin already did. He knew that that was 1.166666666 repeating. Or if I want to write it as a percent, I would move that decimal over 2 times. 1, 2, and it'd be about 16 point, would I keep that a 6 or round that up to a 7? 7. So it's about 17% or 16.7%. So how likely is it to roll a 5? If it's 16%, where does that fall on our scale between 0 and 100? Is that impossible to roll a 5? Unlikely, an even chance, likely, or certain? Is it between? So is it 0, 50, or 100 right away, right off the bat? No. So I have to decide: is it between 0 and 50%, or is it between 50 and 100? You had it right, Riley. It's between 0 and 50, so it's going to be unlikely because it's only 16% chance. So this is an unlikely probability. All right, now instead of writing out probability every time when we do a problem, we use a capital P in math. So if I do P, capital P, and then in parentheses, I'm going to put what I'm looking for. So I want to find the probability of rolling an even number. So I know it's out of how much? How many total outcomes do we have? 6 total outcomes. Which of my numbers are even numbers? Yeah, which ones are even? 2, 4, 6. Sometimes people forget between the difference between even and odd. Okay, so 2, 4, and 6. So how many are even? 3. Now, I want to be able to simplify my fraction if I can. Can I simplify 3 over 6? Yes. If you're not sure, remember you can always put it into decimals, and you can hit that fraction button there. And it'll us 1/2, which 1/2 is 0.5. And what's 0.5 as a percent? 50%. So how likely is it to roll an even? 50%. So is that impossible, unlikely, even chance, likely, or certain? It's in the middle. It's that even chance. All right, last one, and then you have the rest of the time to work. Okay, probability of rolling a 13. How did you know? Yeah, is there a 13 on the dice that we're using? No. On some dice, are there 13s? Yeah, but on this dice specifically, the one I picked out, is there a 13? No. So that's 0 out of 6. There's 0 opportunities out of 6 total. And 0 over 6 is really just 0, which is 0%. So if we label that with our likelihood, is this impossible, unlikely, even chance, likely, or certain? Impossible. It would never even be close to happening. All right, that is your notes for today. Those are your notes for today. There is a practice in Schoology. I just need a second to get it in there. So if you need to copy these down, remember you can always find the notes in Schoology.